He is a legend of the fight sport, and kind enough to redo the start of our interview because I forgot to press the record button. It is always my pleasure to speak to Jorge Masvidal. Jorge, obviously one of the busiest men in the sport, promoter, fighter, dad, legend. I assume you never really slow down.
Nah, I ain't slowing down, man. I'm training every day, brother. Especially after that last robbery it just did to me. That's a very bad taste in my mouth. I knew with 3 California judges fighting through California, it was gonna be tough, but I felt like the brakes off of me. There was not a nobody scorecard anywhere else in the world where they picked that. It's just bad. There's some rounds that I threw more, landed more, hit him more, rocked them, and they still gave him the round. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't even care to ever go back in boxing. Really left a bad taste in my mouth. And anyways, I'm an MMA fighter, brother, gun fighter, brother. So I'm eager to get back in there. I'm in great shape, not MMA shape, but I'm in great overall shape. I trained for about 6 months, Monday through Saturday, the same thing, boxing, a lot of running. So I feel like I'm good, man. I'm ready to get in there and kick someone's ass, brother.
Can I ask you, like, the night of the fight, you were, you said, you didn't agree with the decision, felt it was some hometown cooking, but obviously since then you've had time to go back and rewatch it. Does it bug you that much more now that you've actually seen how the fight played out, like on TV?
Bro, I mean, I don't know. It's just how do you rob somebody so blatantly? But I knew that going in. Originally when we were negotiating at the start of it, my team was trying to get a judge that was going to be in California, a judge from California, a judge from Vegas, a judge from Florida, what seems fair. And they weren't having it. Nah, we're not interested in that. We're in California, it's all judges be from California. There'll be no fight there. We're not interested in that. We won't be a fight. I'm like, it's such a whole tactic. It's right not to fight because of this. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to knock this guy out again anyway. So what do I care? F it. Let him think that these judges being on the side is gonna win. I'm gonna leave him face up looking for air, But unfortunately, on that department, it didn't go my way.
Yeah. Did you said that, like, the whole experience, like, did it leave a sour taste in your mouth to the point where like I think you kind of said it there, like, don't really want to get involved in boxing again because of that?
I mean, it's not that I won't. I had some matches lined up, but now I guess to see the Nate Diaz fighting these guys through, they don't want to do the fighting anymore. So I'm like, you know what? We get right back to MMA, man. I can't wait for nobody. I'm not gonna wait for nobody for 1 year, even 6 months. I'm gonna just get in there, get myself in the best shape possible, and do what I've always loved the most, MMA.
I don't want to get too much into financials, Jorge, but I'm sure you saw the story that came out after your fight about Nate filing some kind of lawsuit. Can I ask, like, did you get your money?
Yeah, dog. I gotta plead the fifth. I can't really tell you yes or no. Someone telling me to plead the fifth right now. I gotta kind of listen. But soon, everything will be known. There's nothing that stays under the sun that doesn't get brought to the light. So it'll get known eventually. But as of right now, I can't say a word.
But right now, and I know you had mentioned, like, as you said, you had other boxing matches lined up, but now it's back to MMA. You're just going to put your focus back on MMA.
I'm not opposed to the boxing matches. They could be a boxing match. They fall in my lap tomorrow. It's major. It's huge. It's everything we're looking for. We can take it, But as of right now, my heart's in MMA. While I was going to sleep a lot of times in the UFC, I mean, in this boxing camp, I was thinking about the UFC. Every day, my gym, and where I was saying that I had to pass the UFC headquarters every freaking day. I would pass the Apex and the UFC gym every freaking day. And maybe that was just enough to, like, trigger it in my heart. Like, I just want to fight. I want to do everything. The boxing was amazing because I got 6 months of just throwing punches and slipping punches. So I really sharpened up my boxing, learned a lot of small little details, and did boxing Monday through Saturday instead of doing many different martial arts, Just ran a lot, boxing, sometimes twice a day, sometimes as much as 3 times a day. We went to boxing gym. So great experience. It was a different experience than in Vegas. Everybody knows I'm from Florida, Dade County, but I was out in Vegas doing the boxing thing, and I could say I learned a lot as far as just boxing goes. So I'm not upset about that, man. Now just get back in MMA shape, break some faces.
I love it. Now you obviously when you retired, I mean, listen, I think people realize like you had been kind of nonstop for so many years because so many people. I mean, you became a star in the UFC, but I remember going back to the days we used to talk in Strike Force and going back even farther into Bodog and things like that. So like you've been around. So was it good just like in a weird way just to get a break from MMA, and did that kind of refuel your fire to want to fight again in MMA, like just having that break?
That, just from a physical standpoint, this is not a knock on boxing at all. Long day. But the grind is different, brother. And the boxing grind on my body, it's very tolerable. MMA is a different fucking animal. You slam on your neck, and you go to jiu-jitsu practice, and someone's trying to fucking ring out your neck. And then the next day you got sparring, and then after sparring you got running and strength and conditioning, and your knees already tweaked, and it doesn't matter. It's just this never-ending. Get faster, get stronger, get smarter, train as hard as you can while staying safe. So MMA is just different, man. Everything going right now, so you get an injury out of nowhere. So I love that sport. It's my favorite sport. But getting ready for MMA, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it, dog. You used to say your body takes it. I don't care what background you're from. I don't care what good of an athlete you are. If you're fighting, you get 2-3 fighting, brother, it's a wear and tear of the body.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, to that point, you said obviously going back to the UFC. Have you talked to them yet in terms of like a timeline? Like, have you had a conversation with Dana or Hunter and kind of let them know, hey, I'm coming back?
Been talking to my boy Hunter. Finding out. He said, let me check this date. Let me see if this dude wants the heat. Let me see if that guy want to get beat up. So I official word. First we lock in the date. Lock in that date, and we'll find the body.
Do you think is there a chance it could be? Is there a chance it could be this year, or you think in 2025?
It could be this year. Vegas, December 7th. I fucking knocked Michael Chandler dead on his ass. It could be next year, Super Bowl. Knock somebody else on their ass. I don't know, man. I don't quite know yet. I'm gonna hear all my options. I'm gonna see all my options. See what the money look like too, because I love, I always say I love fighting. Most don't need to know that though. If I try to drop the price on me, that's what I say. But I love fighting. Yeah. I love to fight.
You love to get paid too, right?
Yeah, don't we all? Some of us don't get that lucky sometimes.
You mentioned Michael Chandler there, and I know there's been this long. I mean, we're going back years now, Jorge. The potential of you fighting Conor McGregor, and I know you've mentioned him a million different times. Can I ask, in your honest opinion, like as you're coming back, can you tell me, do you believe we'll ever see Conor again?
I don't think we'll see. We'll see him like at a bar and shit. You talking about like in the cage?
In the cage.
Like, is it official, or you mean judges, or you mean like fighting?
Actually fighting.
Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I hope he proves me wrong, though, obviously. But I don't think so.
Is that because of that? Is that you said Chandler? Like, is there interest if Conor's not going to be around? Would you be interested in that Chandler fight?
That wouldn't be a bad fight to get my feet wet again with MMA, kind of an introductory course into MMA. I wouldn't mind that fight, but there's a lot of fights out there. I was just throwing that one out there because I'm not just been sitting in silence forever, man. Okay, bro, let's go. You want to throw down? No, we're one of those fucking electrifying motherfuckers that touch the sport. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anytime you fought, it was a big deal. Didn't really matter who you fought. It was always a big deal. But obviously Chandler would be, I mean, listen, I would be lying to you, Jorge, if I didn't say, I'd still like to see the Conor fight. I just don't know that we're ever going to see Conor fight. And I don't know that Conor would fight you. So I don't know. Like, I'd still love to see it. I just don't know that it would happen.
Yeah, Conor's under no circumstances fighting me. He's backed out of fighting poor little Chandler. I don't know how many times he left that dude in the dust, Imagine me. It's not. That guy's never fighting me. He can't do enough cocaine to fucking get riled up to fight me.
Do you? I'm curious because obviously you were the first ever BMF champion, and I know the weight class is a little different right now. And I know Max Holloway has a fight coming up in October at featherweight. Is there a world where we could see you go for that BMF again? Maybe because I don't care what the weight class is. You and Max Holloway would be an insane fight.
Man, and I'm the biggest Max fan also than probably David. I love this guy. I love how he fights. I love his style. I love how he carries himself outside of the ring. He's one of my favorite all-time fighters. So, man, it'd be an honor to get him back. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It'd be an honor, and we would throw down. We would put on a fucking epic show. One of them fights for all the generations, all the lifetime. I wouldn't mind that one bit.
Yeah, and I know, like I said, I mean, unlike the Diaz fight, like I know there's no personal, grudge or anything with Holloway, so it'd be a little different. But what a fight, right? Like, what an incredible fight that would be.
Yeah, me and Max can some serious shit out there. One of the greatest fights. Well, one BMF has the quickest knockout ever, and the other BMF has the latest knockout ever in a fight. Right? Like it was at 4:59 of the round, around 5. There's so many interesting fights with me and Max fighting. We're not gonna grapple. Obviously, we're just gonna stand there and bite down on the mouthpiece and fucking let the leather go. So I fucking dream match, but I don't, that's also I see a lot of Max 155, 170. I can't beat.
Yeah, but who knows? That's what BMFs do, right? Like BMFs go and they fight in different weight classes, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole thing,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it for the one thing. Max is a legend, and I love to get him to mix it up with him.
Considering how things like we remember when you fought for the BMF title and you beat Nate Diaz. Obviously, it was a pretty dominant one-sided fight for you that night, and obviously you did the rematch in boxing. I know that kind of left a bad taste in your mouth with the way that all played out. Is there a world where you settle things with Diaz back in the UFC? I know Nate has said many times like he would go back to the UFC, or do you think there's interest in that just because of how the first fight went?
Yeah. They can say this and that, but he's not. It's like you're not in the UFC. It's not like you just call him up either. Be like, hey, take me back. I don't think he has that type of full power. So I don't know if we rematch. Maybe the UFC would let me fight him elsewhere. I don't know, but I don't know if I don't even know what his connection with the UFC is. Supposedly then they didn't want to resign, right? So what has changed now?
Yeah. In addition, like now with your comeback and your fighting career about to resume here, Jorge, what's going on with Gamebred? Obviously, you got your bare knuckle MMA promotion. You promote a boxing event, so can I assume that's not slowing down just because you're coming back to fight again?
No, it's not. We actually, a couple of things happened now while we slowed down. Plus, I was fighting, and we were trying to just be able to do it right so we could line it up. We could have like 4 events back to back, like every other month have the events, and we're very close to starting that wave off. Hopefully, we're in there live, rocking and rolling November 15th. I got 2 title fights on the cards, bare knuckle as it gets. And as the card looks right now, we got about 15 UFC veterans on this card. So, I mean, I'm going to bring you the heat. I could keep bringing you, man. We want either submissions or knockouts or nothing else in between, or great fights as well. So, we're hoping mid-November, the latest December this year. And then next year, we got to continue for fights.
So none of that's slowing down with you fighting again. That's still going to be going.
No. And we took a slight pause while we did the boxing. There's a couple other things behind the scenes were going on. A couple guys that we wanted to headline were hurt. This and that. Seems like all the dogs in time now. We're ready. We're gonna hit you with a hard show this year, but November 15th or in December, we're gonna have the greatest bare knuckle MMA show ever put together. Our last show was amazing. Very proud of my team, D2, Dallas, Matu, everybody that helped out for that show. But man, we had a hell of a banger, crowned the heavyweight champion. So it's amazing. We got some very good fights lined up for a heavyweight champion as well. We're trying to just do a little bit more of this and that, get the right people to sign on the paper. Once these certain individuals sign on the paper, I'm coming on your show and be the first to fucking hear about it, brother.
Yeah, I remember talking to Junior after that fight. His nose was on the other side of his face, and he still got a knockout.
Yes, sir. Still got a knockout. Dropped it. But it was nuts. That fight was crazy. One mistake, then he like turned his back when he was getting away. And you just can't do that with these big boys, especially experienced mean guys like Santos, bro. He made him pay for that one slip of that little choke up that he did. Boom, the fight was over and fast.
Yeah, he's nasty, man. Who would ever imagined Junior Dos Santos as a bare knuckle fighter? I think who would have seen that coming?
Me, I was president for like 2 years, for 3 years before I finally got him in. He got no choice, so because we're in the same gym, same locker room. I know where he eats food at, so I was just hounding him, man. Just, hey, man, you gotta come fight for me, man. You gotta come fight for me. He'd be like, I got this, I got that. I could just get to his face, get into his chest. And then one day he just told me, he's like, hey, guess what? Free agent, bro. What's going on with your league? I was like, yeah, is that right? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Shot it up, took care of it. On that same day, we should do my contact my business partner, Team 2, told me he was very interested in fighting for us. It was like the biggest no-brainer. Like, well, we're gonna run a nice little tournament, and this is gonna be sick. You know, we had Alan Belcher versus Roy Nelson. We had JDS versus Fabrice Verdun. We had the Green Prize, and boom.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jorge, I got to ask you real quick because obviously I know you're wearing the t-shirt right now. I know you were always a mainstay at American Top Team. And now that you're coming back, obviously I'm sure you got Mike Brown back in your corner and your guy, Dustin Poirier. You look like Dustin was talking about retirement, but I think Dustin's going to fight again too. So maybe you and Dustin, I don't know. Would you want to share a card with Dustin? Would that be like a cool idea? Or would you rather not share a card with your guy, Dustin?
No, share a card. Yeah, definitely. You know. Definitely would like to get on there, beat him, headlining card. We could add Kayla Harris. Do another ATT versus the world. How many times have we had 5, 6 guys get on the card and every one of them win? We've had some where it's gone bad too. Nobody's perfect, but we've pulled it off a lot. ATT versus the world. There's been like 5, 6 of us on the card, and all of us win. That's happened not once, twice, but on many occasions. So I would love to stack it up, another ATT versus the world type card. You know, we got Pantoja, another fucking animal killer. There's a lot of guys we could throw on there. Make a lot of sense. Man.
Absolutely. What are you? I assume you're happy that Dustin's going to fight again.
Oh, of course, but it's one of my, not being biased, one of my favorite fighters. Great style. All far. I mean, you saw his last fight with some boxing, much more needed just to get to the fight. You know, like this guy is fucked. His mind can't bring him, man. It doesn't matter, you know. He's not the best grappler. He's had a tough run getting that belt from these highly elite grapplers like freaking Habib and, Charles Oliveira and now Islam, But as far as like just straight fighting goes, this is one of the meanest and most talented motherfuckers that ever set foot in the octagon.
Absolutely, absolutely. So can I ask you, Jorge, before I get you out of here, obviously you're coming back, maybe this year, maybe next year, it's going to be UFC. Can I ask, like, are you setting goals for yourself? Or are you just back? Like, do you want to have fun fights right now? Is it just about getting back in there and doing your thing? Like we mentioned Michael Chandler. I mean, listen, when you're involved, it's going to be a fun fight. But obviously there are times when, the opponent doesn't allow it to be a fun fight. We won't mention names. But like when you go back in there, like, are you looking for these like really exciting fights, like a Chandler, like a Conor, like a Max Holloway? Is that kind of the idea, or like what is the goal when you come back?
The goal is first get in peak shape, get in very good MMA shape. So I'm in very good like boxing shape. I got to get in very good MMA shape, get conditioned up, my shins, everything. Make sure that my lungs got that MMA wind in them. Once that happens, I'm gonna see who's around, what's available, and maybe we're fighting the toughest contender because that's the quickest way to the title. Or maybe they're giving me some fun fights, and then that leads to the title. I don't really know right now. Kind of waiting the UFC's hand. Killer, man.
I mean, listen, he's not champ anymore, but I mean, Leon Edwards is still out there. I'm just saying that's an idea.
I tried to. Leon Edwards don't want this fuck smoke, man. He had other options. He wanted to do other things except fighting, man. I'll tell you that much.
Did you see his fight with Bilal?
Yeah, I saw most of it.
What'd you think of that?
For starters, Bilal hasn't so much Bilal since I first saw him. I saw him fight live before he was in UFC, and I was just like, it's not the best athlete, it's not the crazy skill set, but slowly but surely, this guy just got better better and better. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, he's not beating that guy. Wrong. The F out of that guy. He did that multiple times. So now to see him as a champion, I think he's one of the guys that's improved drastically the most. Truly amazing, man. Great journey.
But you don't think Leon would fight you?
Hey, I know he would fight. I want that shit. I already got offered to him. He turned it down. I don't want this shit.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of options. There's lots of options. Like I said, you're still a money fight. You're still a big fight. Whoever it is, man, it's gonna be a big fight.
I'll tell you right now, Leon, I will fucking ass, bro. That's fucking bro. I don't know. December 7th, maybe in Vegas, maybe next year, Super Bowl. I don't know, but I'll be fucking out of you, little skinny ass, bro.
Jorge, it is always a pleasure and an honor to speak with you, man. I really appreciate doing this. Obviously, can't wait for the next Gamebred card. And man, December, February, cannot wait for Jorge Masvidal to come back.
Let's go, brother. God bless you, man. Appreciate you, man.